Hello and welcome back to Reading the Decades with me. A very happy and blessed third Advent, and to all who celebrate, a very merry, happy and blessed Santa Lucia Day. I am back with yet another book haul, and also I'm back in the same jumper that I was wearing in my last book haul. I feel casual and let's do a very casual book haul. The first thing I got is actually not a book, but it is very bookish. I got myself a memory game, and it is this one here. It is called Classic Paperbacks Memory Game, Paintings by Richard Baker. So this game, or the pictures on the cards, are classic paperback paintings. And I've already played it and had lots of fun, and it's just nice to play a game that is a bit bookish and just makes more fun than having a normal memory game, in my opinion. It already proved itself worth it, and I think it's gonna be nice to play this over the holidays as well. Then I got another German book, and that is Grete Minde by Theodor Fontane. As I've already mentioned in my other book haul, Theodor Fontane is my favourite German author, and I want to recollect all of his works. So I recently got this one, which is quite short, and this book is about a woman who got rejected by several people, by society, and I think it is about her taking revenge in her own way. I'm very excited to read this one, hopefully very soon. Then, before lockdown started in November, we made a last little trip to town, to London, and I got a few books there as well. We went to Daunt Books and I got some books there. I got John Ruskin, The Lamp of Memory. I've recently heard about John Ruskin, I think. I recently heard or read about John Ruskin in connection with Marcel Proust, and so I got this little one from the Penguin Great Ideas series. Then I got Melvyn Breck's Love Without End, which I've already reviewed in my November wrap-up. This book is the story about Eloise and Peter Abelard, who were a sophisticated couple in the 12th century, 12th or 13th century. And if you want to hear more about this book, just watch my November wrap-up. But spoiler, I did not like this one at all. And I also got Lars Schmitting, The Bell in the Lake, which came out in paperback recently. I was waiting for that to arrive in paperback finally. I was very much looking forward to this book. This is set in Norway in 1880. It is about a church, and it is about the bells that are very important for that church might or might not have supernatural powers. I think this is also going to be a series or a trilogy. I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that, but I think I've heard something about that this is only the first part in a wider range of books. And I got a Penguin classic. I got Candide by Voltaire. I'm very into 17th century literature at the moment, and I've never read Candide, I have to say. I read Voltaire, but never this one, and I think that's going to be very funny. So when I need a little pick-me-up and when my mood is a bit down, I'm going to read this. I nearly already started this one, but I want to have it on my TBR for a bit. I want to have a book for every occasion. I'm not the one to read funny books, so this one has to help me when I'm not feeling too great, and for this it has to wait a bit more. Another 17th century book is No Tomorrow by Vivant Denon. I got this in this absolutely stunning New York Review Library edition, or New York Review Books edition. It's so pretty, and it is so short, and actually we'll find out that No Tomorrow is only 32 pages long, and we have another story in this book which is completely in French. I don't know how I'll manage to read the French story in there. They did not get translated, but one of my New Year's resolution for 2021 is actually learning a new language or refreshing a language I've learned years ago. So maybe this book wants to tell me that I should start with French in January. And this one, by the way, is Libertine literature and gets compared with Les Liaisons Dangereuses, or Dangerous Liaisons, and I'm very excited to read this one. I'm so interested in Libertine literature at the moment. It was a topic that I've never studied at university, that I want to learn about now myself, so I'm reading all the books that I can get. Then for my Jane Austen reread, I also got the last 2 books by Jane Austen that I didn't haul in my last book haul, and that of course is Pride and Prejudice, the Jane Austen book. I got this in the Arcturus Publishing Classics edition, like I got most of my Jane Austen books, and I think that cover is so pretty. Do I have to mention what's going to happen in this book? I think everybody knows what's going to happen in Pride and Prejudice. This is the last story of Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy, and I've read Jane Austen years and years ago. That was one of the first classics as a teenager, or that I read as a teenager. I've never read it since, so this is going to be my first reread of it as an adult. The other Jane Austen that I got is Love and Friendship. I got the Alma Classics edition. There's a beautiful Penguin Crossband edition where Love and Friendship is also spelled with the spelling mistake Jane Austen actually did on friendship. But yeah, I got this edition. It's so pretty as well. There are so many pretty Jane Austen editions out there, like you can seriously become an obsessive collector of her books. This is a bind up of several of her works, her shorter works, and I think that's going to be nice maybe to read this month if I'm not having too much time for a longer work of hers. I can dip in and out and just read a story at a time. I don't know, are there actually also poems in there? I don't know. I've never read Love and Friendship by her, so I'm excited to read something new by her. Okay, let's get to my Black Friday haul. I didn't go too crazy this year, and I also think I didn't find that many great deals, and lots of websites, lots of bookshops didn't have that many good deals. I found a few, and it is still quite a collection that I got, but in comparison to all the years before, I think it wasn't that phenomenal this year. What I got is Gaston Leroux, The Phantom of the Opera, in the Arcturus Classics edition. I really like those editions at the moment, so I found this for a very cheap price and got this one. Then another reread for me is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. I had this on my rereading list for quite a while. I think I did have an English edition, but it was kind of like an academic text edition that I needed for university, and I don't have that anymore. So I got this beautiful vintage classics edition. And I'm so excited to reread this. Hopefully this winter, maybe in spring, I don't know yet, but I definitely cannot wait to be reunited with Catherine and Heathcliff. Then I got Bridget Collins' The Betrayals. This is Bridget Collins' new book. She came out with the binding, was it last year or 2 years ago already? And I have not read the binding yet, but I couldn't let this one move on without me, because it is in the same kind of style like the binding, and those two books are just going to look so gorgeous together on the shelf. Although I'm a paperback fan, this book I needed to get in hardback. I don't know a lot of this book. I only know that it is set at an exclusive academy in the mountains somewhere, and this is all I need to know. I got sold on the story. I don't know if it has queer elements in it as well, like the binding, and look how stunning this gold foiling is. I absolutely love the cover and the whole book. So pretty. And Waterstones had double points over the Black Friday weekend, so I also got something from them. One book I got is The Lesson of the Master by Henry James, just a short novella in this very nice edition. This is about our very talented protagonist who's going to meet his favourite author. It's a very famous author, and our protagonist absolutely admires him and idolizes him. And well, if you happen to meet a person that you think very highly of and idolize, you probably soon when you get to know them a bit better, you probably also get to know their darker and more negative sides, and this is what's going to happen in this shorter story. Then I got Philippa Gregory's Dark Tides, which is part 2 in a new series by her. I also got her first book in this Waterstones exclusive edition, so of course I had to get the second part in the same edition again to be consistent. This is another historical novel by her. It is set in the 17th century in London, and this is all I need to know to be sold on the story. And a book that I was eyeing quite a while already, and I had it on offer thankfully, is Emma Smith Shakespeare's First Folio. This talks, unsurprisingly, about Shakespeare's First Folio. It talks about the owners of the book, it talks about the readers of this folio, it talks about the collectors of this folio, it talks about the production of this folio, the reception of it, and I think this is going to be so interesting. I'm very much looking forward to this one. One of my favourite authors is Peter Ackroyd, and I haven't read anything by Peter Ackroyd in a very long time, and I looked him up and I coincidentally found some of his works for a very good price, so I picked them up. I got The Lambs of London, which is about, is it Mary and Charles? Yes, it's Mary and Charles Lamb, who are famous for their retelling of Shakespeare's plays. They translated Shakespeare's plays into short story, if I remember correctly. I've read their adaptation quite some years ago, and I wasn't a great fan of it, but I'm nevertheless interested in their lives and how Peter Ackroyd approaches the coming together of the adaptation of the short stories. I also got London, A Traveller's Reader, which is introduced by Peter Ackroyd and edited by Thomas Wright. This book is an anthology of lots and lots and lots of different texts from lots and lots and lots of different centuries, even millennia, all about London, about different places in London. I've already started dipping into this one. It is absolutely fantastic to read historical accounts about places in London, and also you get introduced to so many authors that you might not have heard of before or read anything by. So this is absolutely great and gorgeous. And I got this beauty. I got Peter Ackroyd, The Collection, which is a collection of his journalism, reviews, essays, short stories and lectures. I'm very, very excited, especially for his lectures. This is mainly why I got this book. This is quite an old book. I think it's 20 years old already. So I was extremely pleased to find this edition, which looks basically like new, but the Royal Mail messed it up, and I don't know who bit a chunk out of my book. It just came with this hole in the packaging, and the corner was missing, which is so sad, because I make sure when I buy secondhand books that I buy the condition like new, and I found a like new condition, and then it comes messed up. Oh please, Royal Mail, why did you do this to me? Nevertheless, I'm super excited for this one, and I can't wait to read this. But also with books that I'm burning to read, I make myself be patient and put them on my TBR pile for a bit longer. So because I just enjoy this anticipation. I have books on my TBR for years now that every day I think about them, but I've just got so used to this anticipation and this excitement that I'm a bit afraid to read them now, and then this excitement is gone because I've read the book. So I don't know what's going to happen to this beauty here. I'm so excited to read this one, but I also want to keep up this excitement and anticipation for a little bit longer. And when lockdown ended, of course, I had to go book looking, and book looking turned into book shopping. I got East of Eden by John Steinbeck, my very first John Steinbeck. This was on my mind for quite a while now. This is set in California, and it is about two rival families, or it's about two families and their life get intertwined over a longer period of time. I'm very excited for this one. I don't know a lot about John Steinbeck, and I'm not a great fan of American literature. I don't know, American literature and me don't go on too well, but I think this story sounds so intriguing, and I've heard that it is so easy to read and that it just sucks you in, and it's quite a big book. It has well over 700 pages, but the edition is also very beautiful. I'm looking forward to read this, but I think this is going to be a summer book, so this has to wait a bit longer. And the last book I got is a fantasy book, which is not something I usually read, and I've already started it, and it is Earthy by Ursula K. Le Guin. This is the first 4 books in the series. I think there are also short stories in the series. There is a lot going on. I've never read any Ursula K. Le Guin, I think, but I knew about the Earthy books from a very early age on, because they're just such a classic. They're always everywhere. And now finally is the time that I decided to pick them up, also because they are such a classic. They always get referenced in popular culture and in other books that you just miss out if you don't get certain references sometimes. So yeah, I started the first book in here, which is called A Wizard of Earthy, and I quite enjoy it, surprisingly. It is such a cozy read, and oh, I so wish I would have read that when I was younger, when I was like a child, a preteen. When I read The Hobbit and T.A. Barron's Merlin series, I absolutely would have adored this. So reading this is a bit kind of nostalgic for me because it transports me back to how I felt when I was reading The Hobbit and all the major fantasy classics at that time in my life. And I still wish I would have read this yeah, 20 years ago, but I'm glad that I finally have it. I'm not sure if I read the whole thing in one go or if I just read the first book and put it down and then pick it up at another time again. Those are all the new books that moved in with me, and it's Christmas soon, so I'll get more books. We have an excuse this year, don't we? We have to support businesses. So I'm doing this. But I think in January I really have to step back from buying books. But what can you do when you find books for really, really good deals? I can't leave them. I can't leave them. They have to come with me. That's it from me for today. I hope you have a very lovely week, a very lovely Christmas time, a very lovely book time, and happy reading.